Lesson 31, using ratios and proportions. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities using division. So, for example, they give us 2 boys to 3 girls. We can write this any of these 3 ways and it still means the same thing. A rate is a ratio that compares quantities measured in different units. So, for example, if I had 5 feet per 30 seconds or 15 apples for $6, I am comparing quantities, these quantities of 5 and 30, and then different units, because this is 5 feet and this is 30 seconds. The same is true for 15 and 6, those are 2 quantities, and the different units would be apples and dollars. A unit rate is a rate where the denominator is 1. And a unit price is a cost per unit. Okay, so for example, 55 miles per hour, the denominator is 1 hour. We know that already from doing some of our unit conversions. And $2.50 per box, $2.50 per box. It could also be per ounce, per can, whatever it is. So it says, which is a better buy? 10 bananas for $1.35 or 8 bananas for $1.20. So what you need to figure out is, it's hard to do it just by looking at it because 10 bananas is more, but so is $1.35. So we have to know how much we're paying per banana. That's what I want to know. So I want to know dollars per banana, and I'm having to use my keyboard to write because my tab isn't working right now for whatever reason. So excuse the clicking, I know it's annoying. So I'm going to plug in the numbers that I have. The first one is $1.35. For 10 bananas. So if I reduce this to a price per banana, let me get my calculator out here. Actually, I really shouldn't need it because it's 10. So this would be the same as 13.5 cents per banana. Okay, this is my per banana there. The other one is $1.20 for 8 bananas. So when I divide 120 divided by 8, that is 15 cents per banana. So we want to know which one is the better buy. Well, the better buy is the one where you're paying a cheaper amount per banana that you're buying. So the better buy would be the first one, the 10 bananas for $1.35, which is 13.5 cents per banana. Example 2, car travels at 60 miles per hour. How many miles per minute is this? We've already been practicing these sorts of things. If we have 60 miles per hour means 1 hour. The fraction bar means per for us here. We want to know how many miles per minute this is. Well, we don't want to change miles, we want to change hours. We know that we're going to have to multiply. And we want to cancel hours, so hours goes in the top. Minutes goes in the bottom. Okay, so my equivalency is 1 hour is 60 minutes. So hours and hours cancel, and then I'm left with 60 miles per 60 minutes, which is just 1 mile per minute. Okay. Here it is. A hose sprays water at a rate of 10 gallons per minute. How many quarts per second is this? So we know that we're dealing initially with 10 gallons. And that is, it's spraying at 10 gallons per 1 minute. So we want to convert it to quarts per second. That means we're changing both. So let's change gallons first. For gallons to cancel, it must go in the bottom. And I'm changing it to quarts. And the equivalency between gallons and quarts is that there are 4 quarts and 1 gallon, and I have to multiply again because these will cancel right now, but whenever I multiply across now, I'm going to have quarts per minute, but I want quarts per second. So minutes is what cancels here. And on the bottom is going to be seconds because that's what I'm converting to. And I know that my equivalency between minutes and seconds is that for 1 minute there is 60 seconds. Minutes and minutes will cancel. So I have 40 quarts per 60 seconds. And that would reduce to 2 quarts over 3 seconds. Okay, but if it wants to know quarts per second, it wants it as a unit rate, so I need this to be a 1, so it's just going to be 2/3 of a quart per second. I again apologize about the clicking and about my handwriting. A proportion is an equation that shows two ratios are equal. You start working with proportions with Mr. Spears, and I know that he is a rock star when it comes to proportions because everyone comes out of 6th grade knowing how to do proportions. To solve a proportion, we must do the cross product, that is A times B equals B times C. And so to do this, A times B equals B times C, we're going to go ahead and show X times 4 equals 3 times 24. So X times 4 gets me 4X. And 3 times 24 gets me 72. To get X by itself, I need to divide by 4. So I'm left with X equals 18. Okay, on B, it's the same thing. We're taking A times B equals B times C, but we have to take this whole quantity for A. So when I show my multiplication, it's going to be 30 times that quantity of X plus 1. And that has to be equal to 15 times 8. At this point, I want you to pause and try and simplify this on your own paper. Okay, so whenever we do this, I have 30, which I have to distribute to everything on the inside. I wish my pen was working right, because this is very difficult to do. Stop clicking. Stop. So I have 30 times X, which is 30X, plus 30 times 1, which is 30, equals 15 times 8, which is 120. And now I'm solving to get X by itself. So I need to subtract 30 from both sides of the equal sign. Whoops, I just put division and I should not have. So I'm subtracting by 30 on both sides. That will cancel, leaving me with 30X equals 90. And to get X by itself, again, I must remove that 30, and to do that I'm going to have to divide because it's originally being multiplied. I must do the opposite. So I end up with X equals 3. The ratio of pencils to erasers is 1 to 2. There are 24 pencils and erasers in all. How many pencils and erasers are there? So first of all, I know that I'm talking about pencils, erasers, and the total. Pet. That just happened to happen. Pencils, we know, is 1 to 2. The total is going to be when we add these. So that would be 1 plus 2 is 3. And then we have that 24 pencil. There are 24 pencils and erasers in all. So that means the total is 24. I don't know how many pencils or how many erasers there are right now, but using this information you should be able to set up a proportion to solve that. So how many pencils and erasers are there? Set up this proportion right here. So I have 2/3 equals t over 24, and I want you to go ahead and solve that on your own. Once you find out how many erasers there are, then you need to find out how many pencils there are. Final example, Susan ran 12 miles in 2 hours during training. If she runs at a constant speed, how long will it take her to complete a marathon that is 26.2 miles? So I know that she can run 12 miles in 2 hours. And I want to know how long it's going to take her to run 26.2 miles. Well, I want to put that in the same location as wherever it is over here. Miles is on top here, so I'm going to put the miles on top over here. If I mix those up, it will ruin my answer. So that's over x because we don't know how long, and at this point I want you to go ahead and solve and figure out how long it's going to take to run that 26.2 miles. Make sure that you've taken good notes, and I will see you in class tomorrow.